I was the only family on my estate who grew up with my mum and my dad. We don't know what it is like for a man to be in the house. If we don't go out and steal, we're not eating. I used to buy a full house shopping for that family from the age of 9 years old. We're called Brixton Soup Kitchen. It does not mean we only cater for people in Brixton. Everybody deserves to eat a meal. Everybody deserves to have roof over their head. Hello everybody. All right then. My name is Solomon Smith and I am the founder of a homeless charity called Brixton Soup Kitchen.
What's going on everyone? My name is Tevin Kittoe. I'm the founder of 1,000 Voices. 1,000 Voices essentially is a platform where we're on a mission to amplify Black British stories with the hope of what we're working to do is to inspire, to educate and hopefully empower other Black Britons to go and make some changes in their lives, in their communities and beyond. 1,000 Voices. We're interviewing 1,000 Black British changemakers, people doing good work basically. We've got a very diverse background of people. We've got some entrepreneurs, some corporate professionals, activists, community people, you name it. We've got different people on there. Now, I was in the AI talk this morning and there was a brother on there, I've forgotten his name, it was Dexter's boy. And he had this really good analogy. It was quite philosophical. And he was like, back in the day, we used to work with our hands and then now move from hands to using our minds. And then now AI's come, we've got to move from using our minds now to leading with our heart. Now, with that in mind, and I'm a massive believer in storytelling as well, which is why I've started the podcast in the first place. And I'm on a mission to get these Black British stories out there. I think that we can have data and stats and all that kind of stuff, but then without story, it's bland, you know what I'm saying? Story is what brings those things to life, and that's how you can drive change and make change. So with that heart piece in mind and with that story piece in mind, I've been tasked with trying to get Solomon's story out. To kick things off, Solomon, I know you've done like a brief intro, but for people who aren't necessarily aware about you, your journey, how you even got into the work you do now, can you give us like a little intro into that?
So I was brought up on a council estate in Brixton called Moorlands. And for me, I've got a twin brother, a little sister, and I was the only family on my estate who grew up with my mum and my dad. And I took that for granted because I thought that was normal. I thought everyone had their mum and their dad. And a lot of my friends used to come over to my house and I'm like, big man, we got school in the morning, like sometime. And they would say to me, we don't know what it is like for a man to be in the house. And that's when it hit me. I was probably about 7 or 8 years old. And when I used to go to their house, especially like on summer holidays, do you remember when we used to be like, remember we didn't have phones, we had to go to the spots where people used to be, and if they're not there, boy, you have to go home. So I used to go to my friend's house, and again, for me, I had a cupboard where there was crisps. You know when you go into the freezer, there's ice lollies. But then when I'm going to my friend's house, I'm like, right, where's your ice lolly cupboard? He's like, what are you talking about? Where's your biscuit cupboard? He's like, what are you talking about? If we don't go out and steal, we're not eating. We live at home with our grandma. Our mum is on Brixton Hill selling herself. And for us, that was a normal thing where if we know we needed to get money, we'll go on Brixton Hill and meet their parents. And that shouldn't be normal to us. If we knew it was the ending of 6 weeks holiday, we used to go to Woolworths. All we know in Woolworths is the pick and mix. But we don't know, at the back of Woolworths, they used to sell school uniform. We used to go to the back of Woolworths to steal school clothes, just so that they can have fresh school clothes to go to school in. And that's when I come to realize that I was quite privileged growing up in Brixton, having my mum and dad also living in a council estate. I had a roof over my head. My friends, their nan was too old to look after them. So basically they had a free yard from the age of 8 years old. I remember for me to get money from my parents, I had to do basic chores, hoover, wash down the skirting boards. And every money my parents used to give me, my parents never knew this. I used to save my money and go to do you guys remember Quick Save? I'm showing my age. Remember Quick Save, no frills? I used to buy a full house shopping for that family from the age of 9 years old. And I just knew because my mum used to take us every Saturday early in the morning. You know when you're carrying 20 bags, she's thinking how you're able to hold all those bags. And I used that learning to take them shopping. And that's the reason why I said, when I want to set up my own organisation, I want it to be everything that I've learned from when I was younger. So that's why we do a back to school drive every year. We do a massive back to school drive where we reach out to companies, corporates. We do not just feed the homeless, but we're also here to feed families, trying to target the families that are prideful to come into the soup kitchen. So we do a secret service as well. And mixing the charity, what we do with tech, social media, using phones. The phone boxes, a lot of people don't use phone boxes no more. So what we do is we wash out the phone boxes and we leave food packs in there. So if people are too embarrassed to come to the soup kitchen, we just say, go to the phone box, take a food pack, nobody has to know. So we have to find a lot of different ways to feed people. Like yesterday, we went to Coventry. Even though we're called Brixton Soup Kitchen, it does not mean we only cater for people in Brixton. Do you remember that £1 used to can get you everywhere in London? The red bus pass? I used to utilise that. And I used to go to East London just to see what East London looked like. I used to go to West London just to see what West London looked like. And do you know what I saw? Council estates, poverty, chicken shops, the same things. And that's when I come to realise that this problem is not just a Brixton problem, this is a worldwide problem. And that's, for us, we've been running for 10 years with no government funding. I've always... Thank you. And one of the main reasons why I didn't want to gain for funding is because my background is I'm a youth worker for Lambeth Youth Council, and we used to have a lot of amazing programs where if the funding stopped, the program stopped. And I thought that we're failing the kids. So I've just said, how can I create a service where we're not neglecting people? I don't care about postcodes, religion, race, sexuality. Everybody deserves to eat a meal. Everybody deserves to have a roof over their head. And that's one of the main reasons why I started Brixton Soup Kitchen. And we called it Brixton Soup Kitchen is because when people think of Brixton, they're just thinking gangland, people just keeping up with disruption. So what can I do to change the narrative of Brixton? So when people see Brixton Soup Kitchen, they're like positivity. And that was the main reason why we set up Brixton Soup Kitchen. When I first started, believe it or not, the people I was not getting supported by was my own people. Unfortunately, I was getting supported by the people. Do you know what's funny? I'm dyslexic. I still to this day find it hard to read and write. When Dexter sent me the email, I was like, I gave it to my daughter to read it for me because I found it hard. And I remember the Sun newspaper. So the Sun newspaper's got more images than writing. So when I brought that into my house, my mum went berserk. She was like, don't bring this newspaper in my yard. I racist and left wing. And I'm just like, I can understand the pictures. But then the black organizations, like the black newspapers, did never ever support us. But then the Sun newspaper ironically bought us a car to go and pick up donations. We was getting supported by a lot of the white establishments, and it wasn't for the first 5 years, we was getting people going, boy, he might take the money and I go on a holiday and he might do this and I might do that. And it was only from black people. And I'm trying to say to people that this is not a job that I applied for. This is something that I've created. I was literally at home playing GTA and it was raining. I love it when I'm in my house and it's raining. I feel so comfortable. And I was like, what about the people who's outside? And that's when it licked to me. Do you remember BBM? Boy, I had BBM and I was just like, guys, I need clothes, I need this. And that is when Soup Kitchen started. Do you see what I'm saying? We used to literally get free advertisements. So the Sun used to give us free advertisements. We used to use the screens. So when people think about tech, people just think this is about phones. But tech is anything electronical. And we just used everything electronical to put the logo on there, let people know that we exist. Do you see what I'm saying? So when it comes into tech is something very important. Homeless people now have tech. We work with EE and we work with O2, and they give us a lot of refurbished phones and we give to the homeless people. We give them a SIM card. We top up their phones, and that's what they use to keep in contact with people. They need that to see what different organizations are maybe giving away free food or what different soup kitchens are around. So we're trying to say to people, don't look at homelessness when we're thinking about people just sleeping rough and just holding a cardboard box. That is long gone. Homeless people look like me and you. They've got somewhere to bathe. They've got somewhere to get their hair done, but they literally got nowhere to stay. So tech is very, very important. And that's why I always encourage, if you guys got like an old phone that you're not using, you don't have to donate it to the soup kitchen, but donate it to a homeless person because you don't know that phone could do so much and give them so much information.
And let's talk on the networking side of things. then your network is your net worth, as they say. And you spoke about how some of the black organisations weren't supporting you, but then you've managed to form a relationship with The Sun, and they've supported you guys with buying a car. On your socials, you've had some high-profile volunteers as well. I saw you had Pharrell, you had my favourite rapper. How did these relationships come about? Like, are they something that's just been formed through social media, or is it something you've consciously gone out to build, or has it all been authentic just through work you're doing?
A lot of people that I've been able to meet. So yeah, we had Potter Paper down, Pharrell Williams from America. Funny enough, I was in Miami just chilling and billing. And Mace, guys remember Mace? He come up to me and was like, "Hey man, you do the Soup Kitchen." I'm like, how the hell did you know what I do?
You never know who's watching.
And yes, and that's when I said you never know. Because I remember even ITV, when we was working with ITV and then they redone our kitchen, they said, we was on your social media for 2 years. We made sure we didn't like nothing to let you know that we're watching. So you never, ever know who's looking at your socials. And believe it or not, what's giving me the biggest links is they're not verified and they don't have over 1,000 followers. So do not think because they ain't got 10K. People who's giving me the most links is literally people who are not verified and they've got like 400 followers. Remember, I told you that.
Before we move on, I'm conscious of timing. Do we have any questions from anyone?
Right, so what does the future of Brixton Soup Kitchen look like?
So we've already gone into the future. So we've done a lot. We've been working in Miami for 5 years. A lot of people, when people think of Miami, they're like, oh my God, it's amazing. But the homelessness over there is a madness. Yeah. Toronto, we've been doing a lot of work in Toronto as well. So right now, I went to Miami 4 months ago. We're trying to get some land so we can have a community center over there. Jamaica, oh my God, is a problem. They're corrupt. Even when you're trying to do good, they're literally corrupt. So I don't know about Jamaica. No, I have to talk about it. So guys, Jamaica. So, you always think, yes, Sunsea and them good things there. I always wanted to do something in Jamaica. So they've said to me, go and speak to the governor. I'll go and speak to the governor. And when I'm driving around in Jamaica, all I see is Ray Nephews. Ray Nephews, Ray Nephews. So I said, I might need to speak to Ray Nephews. I sent them a LinkedIn. Hi, I'm in Jamaica. Can I meet with you guys? They looked at my LinkedIn and then they said, yes, come meet us tomorrow. So I drove to Kingston, met with Ray Nephews, gave them a quick proposal, a plan, told them what I've been doing. And because they're based in Kingston, they said, well, boy, it has to be in Kingston. So I said, cool. They found land was not being used. They gave me the land. And then I sit on the board for the Pop Brixton. So I helped them how to kind of set up the containers, where to source the containers from. And the same places where they source the containers from, I wanted to have that model in Kingston, where Jamaicans are building their own community centres, they're building their own soup kitchens, they're building their own to create business there. They told me, for me to get 1,000 containers, it's going to be 800 UK pounds per container. And I said, it's not for business, it's not for me. It's for me to create something in Jamaica. It's not even for me. They said, no, for the containers to come here and you need 1,000 of them, it's £800 per container. Now I'm getting the containers for free, but then for it to get to Jamaica is a madness. So I've been in this limbo for about 5 years, but I ain't gonna stop, but it's been a mad problem. But yeah, my thing is to set up soup kitchen where it's accessible to everybody. It's not just about getting food, it's not just about getting food packs, but the main thing for us is what could we do for you to not want to even use a soup kitchen? How could we reverse it? If that is us finding you work, getting you back into, sustainability, or even just kind of just changing the mindset. You got to see it as sometimes it's the mindset what turns you into depression, what turns you out of work, what then turns you homeless. So we're then thinking about what are the routes that we need to do to kind of sort out those situations, and that's what we're here for.